And it's Friday, and you know what that means. The BBE is live.
Nottingham Ale, boys, Nottingham Ale. No liquor on earth is like Nottingham Ale. Nottingham Ale, boys, Nottingham Ale. No liquor on earth is like Nottingham Ale. Nottingham Ale, boys, Nottingham Ale. No liquor on earth is like Nottingham Ale. Nottingham Ale, boys, Nottingham Ale. No liquor on earth is like Nottingham Ale.
Thanks so much for joining us this Friday at noon, which happens almost every other Friday. My name is Thomas Lipsmeyer, Thomas Allen. I am from Chicago, and I'm one of the directors of the BBE and our resident singer. So I'd love it if all of my friends and colleagues can introduce themselves as well.
I'm Leanne Dale Ragusa, the resident flute player, another director of the BBE, and I'm streaming to you from Bloomington, Indiana.
And I am Brandy Berry Benson, yet another one of the directors of the BBE, and I am thrilled to introduce you guys to recorder player and sometimes cornetist. They are a rare breed. Chris Armijo of the Forgotten Clefs Ensemble. We have a lot of buddies in that ensemble, so shout out to, of course, Kelsey and Sarah, Kelsey Schilling and Sarah Hoop Schilling, as well as Keith Collins and anybody else who plays with them. You know who you are, and we know who you are. So, Chris, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
All right. Well, are you ready to start playing some music games?
Always. Every
Oh,
time.
good.
He doesn't
Okay.
know.
I have no idea, but yes,
It's
absolutely.
great. And if you don't know the answer, that's great. You can just tell us your dissertation of why you don't know the answer or whatnot.
Or you could tell us
Sordid
how the
lives.
questions would go.
Right.
Oh yeah, I can do that. I'll make corrections
So-
as we go. What's that?
Oh,
Excellent.
good.
Yes.
Right. So the first game is the Sordid Lives of Composers. So how it works is I'm going to read a paragraph about a composer. I may or may not leave out pertinent information that will help you get the answer, but there will be 4 multiple choice answers on the screen. And after I'm done reading, there will be a little thinking music, so you have time to contemplate what the answer might be. All right, so let's get started. With the eye. I love this picture. With his nose.
Yes, that's very,
Okay.
very nice.
This English composer was the leading composer of 15th century England and among the most influential composers of his time. He developed the English style, which pioneered the prominent use of harmonies with thirds and sixths. While the musical output of medieval England was enormous, almost all the manuscripts were destroyed during the English Reformation, particularly as a result of the dissolution of monasteries. As a result, most of this composer's work has had to be recovered from other sources like northern Italy and the southern Alps. Some of his works that have survived include 2 masses, parts of masses, motets, and various settings of liturgical texts. Now, was it Mr. Power, Mr. Bittering, Mr. Dunstable, or Mr. Handboys? But first, a little thinking music. I just wanted to say. Chris, do you have any guesses about this composer?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I do have to give a shout out to my second favorite on this list is Lionel Power. That it's always a soft spot in my heart for him. He's in the Old Hall manuscript, and I love it. But I think the real answer is C. John Dunstable.
And maybe you've even played some of his music.
Fairly frequently, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I might have
very beautiful.
scoured Forgotten Clef's page.
Oh, I see.
But yes, you are absolutely correct. It is C,
Yay.
Mr. Dunstable. Sorry, Mr. Handboys.
I mean, the picture.
I'm not sure who that is.
It is a composer. I was trying to find English
figured.
names, composers, but yeah, I don't really know him. But this is Mr. Dunstable. This is a picture of him and his nose.
Yes.
All right.
He's
Well, let's
an
go.
impressive
Oh.
nose.
It is quite impressive. So let's go on to question number 2. This one also has wonderful portrait. So
Lovely hair.
this,
I mean, you know.
I love it. I think he's got the little flip
Yeah.
It looks very not Lord of the Rings. It looks very like picture from Game of Thrones, actually. So you could imagine this guy like being slaughtered by zombies or something. So
Or like picture of Dorian Gray or something.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Well, let's find out about this English composer who was born in 1576. He's considered one of the finest Tudor composers. He studied the Flemish polyphonic technique used by William Byrd and became familiar with the Italian madrigal used by Thomas Morley. He received a bachelor in music in 1602 from Oxford University and was organist at Chichester Cathedral and chorister at the same place. Despite his talent, he was often fired from jobs for his habitual drunkenness and absence from duties. I feel like that still happens a lot,
could
whatever.
describe anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not going to name any names.
Right. As a composer, he is best known for his vocal music, particularly his madrigals, anthems, and church music. Was it Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Welks, Mr. Laws, or Mr. Purcell? But first, a little thinking music. All right, Chris, any guesses, or do you know the answer?
I'm pretty sure I know the answer. It's very helpful that you have pictures of the composers for these. But
I don't always, but yes, today I do.
I'm pretty sure you're talking about Thomas Weelkes, Mr. B. Is that
Mr. B?
Mr. B?
Mr. B? Thomas Brandy, do you
Oh, yes.
want to win?
Or B for BBE, I think so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Good.
So yes, Mr. Weelkes.
I can't stop
Yes.
staring at his hair. I'm just like, what does he use?
And he has like natural highlights too. Like,
Exactly. I mean, I have highlights myself, but they're of the gray variety. So
but yeah,
Again, those two.
But yes, Chris, you are absolutely correct. It is B. And I know you've played some of his music as well, right?
Played and sung, probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
I
gonna
think
say,
so.
I've done some of his madrigals, so
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't say that I've done a lot of his music, but
we
it's
could
okay.
change that right here and now if you wanted to, Leanne.
Yeah, there's
you
time.
could.
to pick up a different instrument, Leanne. You can't, you gotta, pick up the
I'll-
recorder.
I'll dust off my recorder. I have one
There you go.
somewhere. All right. Well, Chris is on a roll, so let's go on to question number 3. Sorry, there's no composer picture for this one,
Dang.
Darn.
but hopefully you'll still be able to figure out the answer. This English composer, who later moved to Rome, was a recorder player, oboist, and violinist. He is known for his large output of compositions for the recorder, including sonatas, trio sonatas, and concerto grossi. His initial style closely followed that of Corelli, but he progressed towards a more galant style. His compositions were popular in the amateur market for flute and recorder music, which flourished in England in the early 18th century, which was a time when the recorder was also a fashionable concert instrument there. So, was this Mr. Valentine, Mr. Hawkins, Mr. Pearson, or Mr. Playford? But first, a little thinking music. Any guesses, Chris?
My heart says Robert Valentine, and I think that's the correct answer. Is it?
Well, let's see if Brandy or Thomas want to guess or weigh in on something.
I only know John Playford, and that doesn't sound like him, so I'm at a loss.
Yeah.
I've played some Valentine sonatas and things before, so I feel like
That's good justification. We'll
could
we can
know.
go with that.
I don't know much about him as a person, but or his career. But
I'm with
his
Chris.
music,
All right,
his music
2A.
does strike me as sort of like proto galant. So
Yeah.
Brandy, do you want to guess or?
So yeah, there are a couple of things that you said in there. Moving to Rome. And you did mention the violin, which I'm sad to say I'm not recalling either of these three people up for violin like I should. But
I could also give you another hint. Sometimes, because he moved to Rome, he sort of Italianized his last name, but I didn't put that on here.
Oh.
If one of those you think could be Italianized.
I mean, I guess Valentino could easily be Italianized. Yeah. All right. I'll go. You've got me. You've got my heart too, Mr. Valentine. I'll go with it.
Yes, it is correct. So he did change his name to Valentino when he moved to Rome. Yes. Good, Chris. You have 100%. Good job.
Yay, thank you. I think I would change my name too if I moved to Rome.
For sure.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my turn to exact revenge, although I didn't do so badly, so I can't be. But, that's fine. I can be catty, too. So anyway, how this usually works is I exact my revenge upon Leanne for giving us difficult things that I couldn't possibly know the answer of, but I at least knew two, so that was good. And how I do this is you will see on the next page 3 names of composers. You will then hear a clip anywhere from about 30 seconds to a minute worth of music, and you will then take a stab at which composer it was. And if you know the piece, great job. After which I will reveal the composer, who performed it, what the piece was, as well as a cat doppelganger of my choosing, which may either directly or indirectly apply to whatever we listen to. It kind of depended on how I felt at the time of doing this. So here is your first three composers: Alessandro Marcello, Alessandro Scarlatti, or Domenico Scarlatti. And here is your sound bit. There's never a good place to stop and fugue, so I just had to pick some place where it's sort of cadenced a little bit. So anyway, any guesses who this might be, or does anybody know this piece?
I know that. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, it's the cat fugue, right? The keyboard cat fugue.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out after it's revealed.
Have you played it, Brandy?
No.
Me.
Neither has
Me.
my cat.
Me.
Neither has my cat. I'm pretty sure my cat would not have been the inspiration for this person.
I always get my Scarlattis mixed up, and so I feel like I'm at a disadvantage. But
Yeah.
my gut says it's one of those.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Scarlatti, but I also don't remember. I'm going to go with B for BBE.
Bass. Okay, very good.
Yeah. I'm going to go with C because I think it was one of the later. I think because Domenico is the later one. So I'm going to go with him. I think he was the cat dude.
All right, so we got a B and a C. Chris, do you want to break a tie?
I don't want to, but I will. I think I'll also say C. Domenico.
All right. So 1 B and 2 C's. Well, it was in fact Domenico Scarlatti, and it was the Cat Fugue Sonata in D minor.
Wow.
And yeah, the history behind it is supposedly his cat Pulcinella rambled across the harpsichord and wrote this theme, and so then he wrote this fugue based off of what the cat played. Who knows if that's actually true? Somebody smarter than I will be able to chime in, and I'm sure we'll hear all kinds of great trolls on YouTube. So looking forward to that. And so for my cat doppelganger here, we have a picture of the cat doing the devil's work there on its harpsichord.
Wow. Oh,
So, good job. And now for my second and final one, here we have Handel, Porpora, and Vinci. And here is the piece. And there was a great cadence right there. So, and all right. Any thoughts on who this could be, or does anybody know what it is?
I've played this, so I'm not going to answer.
Yeah,
Andy.
I know.
Damn it, Leanne, come on. I'm going to stop giving these now and just go back to my obscure vocal repertoire so nobody gets it.
That's right.
I'm actually super not sure.
Oh, good.
Unfortunately.
My revenge shall be wreaked. All right, good.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with Porpora or Vinci to distinguish it from each other or from Handel. And it sounds a little cute for Handel, but Handel's like a very multifaceted composer. So maybe I don't know.
It's a very, yes, it's a very cute excerpt that he could have written.
Are you saying it is Handel?
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, then why don't we say Handel then?
Excellent. Brandy or Leanne, do you want to reveal who it is?
Go ahead, Brandy.
Yeah, it's Handel.
Yay.
Yes,
One
it
of
is
his
Handel.
organ concertos. Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
the fun thing is, so I went with an animal theme today. It's also subtitled "The Cuckoo and the Nightingale," and you could hear that in the little excerpt, the cuckoo. But then, like, they went kind of crazy, and I don't remember any birds sounding like like for like 5 minutes straight. But okay, it's cool.
You have to teach him to sing that way.
Yeah, I guess so. And so anyway, here's the catbird that was singing. So there you have it.
Excellent.
All right, Brandy, your turn.
All righty. Well, and now we come to two truths and a lie. So I'm going to read three different statements, or short stories, if you will, if you want to call them that. And then you pick the one that is not truthful. That is the lie. Hence our little Pinocchio BBE right there. So this first batch of statements actually is about Giovanni Bassano. And here we go. So Giovanni Bassano was a young instrumentalist at St. Mark's who quickly grew a reputation as one of the best instrumentalists in Venice. Number two, as one of his duties to directing music at St. Mark's, he directed several piffery or wind bands. He was only allowed to direct music at St. Mark's, even though other churches asked him to direct their music. And then number three, Bassano was not only a composer, but he was also a cornetist. Which one is the lie? And now for a little thinking music.
Chris, I'll give you a hint. Sometimes Brandy will change one word. She can be sneaky.
Oh no.
Okay, I do have a question about number two. So are you saying that he directed these piffery at St. Mark's?
That's what that's what I'm saying. And number two, he was only allowed to direct music at St. Mark's, including these piffery, not anywhere else.
Okay.
This all sounds like it could all be true. Very, very good.
Well, sometimes she changes the date by like 5 years, and
Oh, that's mean.
yes,
I know.
I wasn't being too mean on this one. But.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Let's see. What things could you lie about? he might not have actually been a cornetist. I don't know. The Bossanos I know are great recorder players and makers. But then cornetto was very in fashion at the time, so maybe everyone was playing them. I don't know.
I mean, number one is probably true, except it could be that
He wasn't
maybe
the best.
or he was somewhere else. I don't. Okay, because we have to. I'm going to go with number two, just because.
I'm going to go with number two as well.
All right, I'll go with number two.
There's a lot in there that could be false.
Well, you guys are in fact right. It is number two. He did actually direct music outside of St. Mark's, so that was the lying part.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So now the second batch here is about Telemon, who was, as we know, a professional recorder player. Which is also why I had picked Bassano for the recorder connection there. But anyway, here we are with Telemon. So Telemon was a professional recorder player and was almost completely self-taught in music. Even though he went to law school, he chose to pursue a career in music instead. And then number two, while Telemon had a brilliant music career, he did not have the best of marital relationships. His first wife died not long after they wed, and his second wife cheated on him and racked up a huge gambling debt before leaving him. And then the third, Telemon's second wife was also a composer and often tried to steal his works to make money off of him. So, which one is the lie? And now for a little thinking music.
Any guesses, Chris?
I'm leaning towards either two or three, but I don't know much about his wives. They don't teach us that in school. So,
They should, though. That would be a fun class.
yeah, the wives of famous composers. Wow, I would take that class. Could be a gender studies class.
I was going to go with number three, and just because I Wikipedia Baroque female composers all the time and have never seen any names coming up related to Telemon. Now, that's either Wikipedia's issue or my issue. I'm not sure. But
But maybe she didn't take his last name. Maybe, she was an artist and she wanted to keep her last name. I have no idea.
How they did
I don't know. I know.
I also feel like if she was a composer, why would she steal his works? She could just write her own.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with three.
Yeah,
I feel like three. I'm for three as well.
All right, excellent. And you guys got that one right as well. So she was, in fact, as far as I know, not a composer. And so, yeah. So that whole statement is totally debunked there. Yay,
thank you, Wikipedia. Okay,
yeah,
good.
there you go. That Wikipedia searching paid off. All right, and now this is just some, three statements about the early recorder, or just Anyway, they're kind of related, I guess. All right,
Alrighty.
Here's the first statement. One of the earliest paintings that included the recorder was called The Virgin and Child. It was painted in 1410 in Macedonia. The second statement, the recorder can be traced back in Europe as far back as the Middle Ages. The earliest recorder discovered is called the Dordrecht recorder, named after the nearby town in the Netherlands where it was excavated. And then number three, the recorder made its way into modern music as well. Composers like Paul Hindemith, Leonard Bernstein, and Arvo Pärt all wrote for recorder or recorder ensemble. So, which one is the lie? And now for a little thinking music.
Well, I have very good feelings about number two in that I think that it's true, so it's not the one we're looking for. I believe the Dordrecht recorder was actually discovered in a ancient latrine for some reason. I don't know why, but it was inside a latrine. That's funny.
It's a good place for it.
Someone obviously got frustrated with it and threw it away. But and I've seen this painting of the Virgin and Child before, so I can picture it, but I'm not 100% on whether it was actually Macedonian. Could have been. Could very well have been. But I don't know.
I'm looking at number 3, and that's because even though I suspect Hindemith and even Parrott could potentially write for recorder, like definitely Parrott for kind of atmospheric thing, and Hindemith because he wrote something for everybody. I'm unfamiliar with Bernstein's use of recorder in anything. When you say wrote for recorder or recorder ensemble, could you also be referring to just like a funny little one-liner in some show or something, or are you talking about something more substantial?
No, like a part in it doesn't have to be like they wrote a recorder solo or wrote just for recorder ensemble, like meaning they wrote a recorder part or had multiple recorder parts in whatever work.
I will say that to me, Leonard Bernstein seems the least likely to have used the recorder. I know for a fact Paul Hindemith did. He is very famous among recorder players, a famous trio for recorders, which is really cool. And I don't know, Arvo Part was crazy. But yeah, I'm leaning towards 3 because of Bernstein. What about you guys?
I'm wondering if he's in a show somewhere. Sorry, Leanne.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm wondering if it's 3, because I think 2 is true, but then there could be, something wrong in number 1. But I'm gonna go with number 3.
Okay.
Same.
So we've got 2 votes for 3.
3.
Thomas, what do you think?
I'm leaning in for number 3. I'm just kind of curious about 1 and 2 because I feel like there's a lot of the recorder as it is today and some of those sort of proto recorders. I'm just wondering if they existed before all of this too. But okay, I'm going with number 3, and it was because of the Bernstein. So, but maybe it's Arvo Pärt. I don't know.
Well, this one I stumped you all. So it's actually number 1 for the year.
Dear.
Yeah, so 1390s actually.
Okay, see, this is an example of where she just changes it by a decade, and we're expected to know that.
That's so mean.
It was a very important decade. It meant what century it was, So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right.
Anyway. Yeah.
We disapprove, Brandy, but that's okay.
Well, it's all good. You got the other ones right, though. So
that's true.
Yeah.
What did Bernstein? I can see Arvo Pärt writing something with it included, but what did Bernstein write?
Oh, don't ask me that. I don't actually.
Okay, well, you start the combo, and I'm going to look it up, and I'll report back.
Yeah, I'm interested too.
But
it'd be nice to know.
The Pärt was.
A previously unpublished Bernstein variations on an octatonic scale, originally composed for cello and recorder in 88 and 89. Okay, right off the top. Interesting.
Okay. I probably won't play that.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
See if it even sounds like Bernstein or like the Bernstein we think.
Probably sounds octatonic.
I mean, I can share it. I can share it right now. If you guys want to hear a smattering of it.
Smattering.
Sure, give us a smattering.
Let's hear a smattering.
All right, let me get this going. This is impromptu. So share screen. Share this one. Here we go. All right. So let's hear what this sounds like. Leanne.
I actually can't hear it.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't? Oh,
no.
Sorry. That's because I didn't share my sound. Hold on.
Like,
Let me do that again. I can do this. This is why it's
I thought
impromptu.
maybe it was just a silent song. I don't know.
No,
I mean,
no, it was
like
playing.
John Cage.
I thought you were responding to the. You did it right at the right time where it was like a leading tone, and I was like, oh, okay.
Good.
Can you hear this? Okay.
There we are.
You did it right here. And then your eyes resolved when it resolved.
Interesting.
This I can kind of hear Bernstein right here. Okay. Maybe that's good enough. Like,
Okay.
that was his more experimental phase.
Actually, I'm convinced. I'll play it. I want to play it now.
Excellent.
Well, it's only you and a cello player, so it's not like you need to
I'll
find
have to
many people to make it happen.
Yeah, it's true. Cool.
Yeah.
I learned something new today.
Yes, me too.
Me too.
Yeah. All right, Brandy, kick it off. Let's find out all the personal information.
That's right. So this is the part in the show where you tell us all of your family secrets, all of your escrow accounts, you know, everything you've been hiding from the government about those UFO sightings. I'm just kidding. Anyway.
No, I told them everything.
You did? Okay. That's I don't know if you should have between you and me and the YouTube, but
Okay, well, not everything.
but actually, so I know we hear that you have a little performance, not a little, but you have a performance tonight. Would you like to? And there is a festival going on that is well known to a lot of IU folks and a lot of Indiana peoples. Tell us a little more about what's happening tonight.
Sure. So the Bloomington Early Music Festival this year is virtual for reasons. And so tonight, as part of that, my band Forgotten Cliffs is presenting a pre-recorded concert of Guatemalan music from Guatemalan manuscripts from the 16th century. Forgotten Cliffs is a Renaissance wind band, so we'll be playing early winds like dulcians and shawms and recorders and things like that. And that will be at 8 o'clock. We'll have special guest Paulina Francisco just sing with us for a few of the things. And Dr. Paul Borg, who did extensive research into the manuscripts and is our board president, is giving a short lecture or / talk about the manuscripts immediately prior to the show. So and that's at 8 o'clock. And I think I see the website for BLEMF down at the bottom of my screen. You can navigate there, and that's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Nice.
Or daylight time. I don't remember. It's Eastern Time, whatever it is.
Right.
And is it live stream or is it pre-recorded?
It's I think you'd say do it as a YouTube premiere. So it's pre-recorded, and I don't think there's a live component to it, but everyone can watch, and there's usually like a chat thing where you can be like, hi, I'm here.
Yeah.
You'll be like, wow, cool. So
excellent.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Nice. And
During the
oh, sorry.
I was going to ask if you guys have done other with Forgotten Cliffs this past year. Have you been able to do concerts, or has it all been online, or what?
Yeah, everything we've done so far this year has been online. We've mostly been taking the opportunity to work on our digital media presence. So like creating things to post on the internet, like just a piece here and there, a motet or a dance or whatever. And and that's been very successful, I think, for us so far. But one of the other big things that we did that was really successful was we every year we do an educational outreach program that we had been calling Shawms and Stories, but we sort of changed it to just musical storytelling. This year we did a program, a musical presentation of a book called The Very Last Castle, which is I don't want to know, or I don't know what age level the book is necessarily for. So it's a kid's book, and it's very beautifully illustrated. The book's by Travis Jonker and Mark Pett, and we put it to music. We had a dancer that we recorded to dance to some of our music, like to do choreographical interpretation of everything. And we found a really great dancer at IU named Destiny Walton, and she's amazing. And so we premiered that. I think it was in April. All of the months run together. It was a couple months ago, and it was really, really great. Mostly we presented it to like classrooms of kids and stuff, but we did one that was with the library that was open to the public, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. So,
Can people still watch it, or has it been taken down?
it's been taken down because we need to talk to the authors of the books about what we can and can't do with the whole program. But we do have a highlights reel available on our website, forgottenclefs.org. So you can go look for that if you want to see highlights from The Very Last Castle. So, yeah.
That's very cool. I also forgot the question I was going to ask you.
It's okay.
No, that's all good. What was I going to?
I guess here's the first response sort of question. Like, it's I think yesterday and today people are saying, like, the CDC announced that people who are vaccinated, I don't want to say can throw caution to the wind, right? But suddenly it's like you can go unmasked, you can be in spaces together. Have you and everybody else in Forgotten Clefs, have you guys, within the last 24 or 48 hours, have you guys contacted each other about that? Has that affected, have you started thinking about, maybe we can do stuff in person again? Or has any of that kind of affected your psyche? Because it's pretty sudden and it's pretty big news.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely exciting news. We haven't talked about it. I imagine that when we do, probably very soon, I imagine that when we do, we'll talk about being very cautious still for practical and, optics reasons. But yeah, to answer your question, no, we haven't talked about it.
Yeah,
but we will. We definitely will. I mean, because we definitely want to get back to performing things live. We're very much looking forward to that. We all miss doing things for a live audience because it's so difficult to be engaged with the music you're making for people when they're not there. It's just, it's great music and you enjoy doing it on its own merits, but it's different when it's for a group of people, And so we're looking forward to getting back to that, just like everyone else, I think.
Now I remembered what I was going to ask. It was actually about the Guatemalan manuscript. So who did the musicology behind that, or who have you been working with that uncovered those? What's the story there?
I don't know who uncovered them, so to speak, but Dr. Paul Borg, who is giving the lecture this evening, has done, I think, the most extensive research on them musicologically, and he knows way more about them than I ever will, probably. But what I do know about the Guatemalan manuscripts is that there are 7 of them. They're all music manuscripts in various states of disrepair at this point, I should say. But they're housed in the Lilly Library, the Rare Books Library at IU, so they're being well taken care of. But they contain several interesting things. One set of interesting things is music that has concordances in other manuscripts in Europe, like French motets and Spanish things that were used for liturgical use that were popular in Europe at the time that they wanted to do in Guatemala as well, and so they wrote it down, and sometimes not quite accurately, which is really interesting. So we have to sort of say, is that a mistake or is that flair? And other interesting things include pieces that have no concordances anywhere. They're just completely new to the world, except in the Guatemalan manuscripts. And so we play a few of those as well for our concert. And I forget what else I was going to say about them. Interesting drawings as well. I think one of the reasons that we find them so interesting is not simply because that there are concordances or are not concordances, but because that we're fairly certain, or maybe completely certain, I don't know, but that if not all, then most of the pieces written down in them were written by native Guatemalan people, not by Spanish missionaries that were there to convert people. I mean, it's part of the conversion story of the Americas, for better or for worse. But we know for a fact that there are some pieces in there that were written by native hands, and so we sort of wanted to bring those to light and say these are. It's just so interesting that we have that type of this type of music that is meant to be played on the instruments that we play, but written by another culture. So it's pretty neat, I think.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question, actually, was the music that was written by native hands, if it was an open instrumentation or if it was like they had designated, to these instruments. So but I guess that yeah.
I don't think the manuscripts necessarily say distinctly one way or the other whether something should be sung or played on a specific instrument. I mean, they have titles to some of the pieces in them, just written, like scribbled at the top of the line of music, so that like, oh, that is supposed to be J'ai pris amour. But the text isn't there. The text of the song isn't there. So, like, am I supposed to sing it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And what's extra interesting is that apparently in some of the research that we've been doing for this program, have discovered that there are some folk traditions alive today in Central America that still involve the use of instruments that look a heck of a lot like shawms and drums and the types of instruments that we play in our ensemble, so that they sort of continued in their own right for the past 500 years. So it's neat in a lot of different ways.
Are the sounds of the pieces that are, I mean, is it like pretty obvious the ones that are written by native hands versus the ones that were brought over, like by said Kapellmeister or whatever that's coming in from Spain, or, as was kind of the story back then for that region?
Yeah, sometimes you can tell based on like the ones that we are copied. We know are copied from other manuscripts, and we're familiar with the, shall we say, conventions of counterpoint that are present in them, and then we could sort of tell that maybe one other one wasn't copied and was perhaps written by someone who wasn't immersed in that that style of counterpoint for their whole life, because it's just some things. I don't want to say it's wrong, because it's not wrong. It's just what they were doing, and but the counterpoint is not. You look in rehearsals when we're playing, it would be like, is that correct? Yeah, it is correct. I mean, it sounds a little odd to our ears because we're used to this certain style, but it is going to be different, and that's fine. It's great.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
So I have a random question that's not related to that, Chris. So have you picked up any new sort of things, habits, anything over the pandemic? Have you, I don't know, woven the world's largest basket, or I don't know, made the biggest pie, or I don't know. Have you picked up any hobbies?
I haven't baked the biggest pie. I do enjoy baking. but I've enjoyed that for a while. One skill that I picked up during the pandemic, though, when I wasn't doing anything, was video editing, which is a useful skill to have during a pandemic when people can't gather. So I've been sort of honing my craft in that regard, and doing that sort of led me to get a new job this past September at a company called Arts Laureate. And we primarily do things like we create for our clients, we create virtual choirs. So people like submit, a video of themselves singing la 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 la, and then we put it with everybody else doing their own little part and make a virtual choir. And it's really, really neat. And I enjoy it a lot. And it's a lot of technical skills involved in like video editing, and I'm not amazing at it, but I know a lot of people who are now, and I learn new things every day. So it's pretty neat.
Nice. Very nice. Have you made, I know you're a big baker. Have you baked a lot during the pandemic? Any favorites?
I had been doing a lot of baking and cooking until things got busy this past year. I really enjoy making things with puff pastry. I last weekend actually made a sort of a Danish style puff pastry cream cheese braid thing, which was really tasty, with blueberries and sweet cream cheese. So I always enjoy making puff pastry and making things with puff pastry. It's very fun and rewarding.
Very nice.
Yes.
We should have you come to one of our concerts and do like, I don't know, the reception.
Sure.
I know, right?
Or you could do a bake sale for Forgotten Class. Like, that would be a fundraiser.
Yeah.
We've talked about something like that before. But I don't want to have to like play a concert and make 1,000 pastries. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
it's a
lot of work.
like what? Yeah, it is.
Yes.
So anyway, that's what I'm up to.
It sounds like you're keeping busy.
Yes.
Yeah, I am very busy and happy.
Cool. All right. Well, we're getting close to the hour. So any final thoughts or any final questions from anybody here?
Any last parting words, Chris? Anything? You can say no.
Just say no.
You don't
No.
have to. Yeah. Okay, good.
How
Or
about
you could
this?
just smile.
How about this? Never miss an opportunity to be kind to each other.
And don't miss Forgotten Clefs. That's a very
Tonight,
important one too.
That too.
That's yeah. Tune in tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
8 o'clock
Yeah.
Eastern,
Correct.
7 Central.
7 Central.
Nobody cares about west of that. Just Eastern and Central. All good.
Right.
Exactly.
Sure.
And a shout out to all of our friends and buddies in Forgotten Clefs that are playing tonight with Chris. And we are wishing you all a great performance and a great pre-recorded performance. It'll be very beautifully played, I'm sure.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing it myself.
Wonderful, wonderfully edited together. Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Chris. Thanks so much to all of my colleagues and friends in the room and outside of the room. This is the BBE Live. We are live almost every Friday at 12 noon. I think are we doing next week? We're doing next week, right? Okay, we'll be here next week with another special guest and fun trivia. Until then, stay safe and see you later.
Nottingham Mail, boys, Nottingham Mail. No liquor on earth is like Nottingham Mail. Nottingham Mail, boys, Nottingham Mail. No liquor on earth is like Nottingham Mail.